guys, Rob Buhler, Kern River Fly Shop, and welcome into the shop today. We're going to do a little tippet talk. One of the main areas of confusion when people come into the shop is which tippet do I purchase, which size, which style. We've got a lot of selection over here. It can be a little overwhelming and a little bit confusing. So try and clear that up with our tippet talk today. At the start of our rack, or the top of our rack up here, is pretty specific application stuff. 6X, 7X, 2 and 3 pound, 4 pound at the heaviest tippets. And that's for clear water, spring creek applications, or when the water gets very crystal clear and the fish gets super finicky here on the Kern. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we've got some much heavier tippet down here, 0X, 1X, 2X, going from that 10 to 15 pound range. And we're using that for streamers, bass fishing, heavier applications. Right in the middle of the group is that 3, 4, and 5X. That is the bulk of our applications for use on the river and for our trout fishing. That 3, 4, and 5X is anywhere from 5 to 8 pounds in strength and is kind of general purpose, general application. When the fish get a little bit finicky, we move down to the 5X. When the water's up a little higher, we move closer to the 3X basically. Now, all these different tippets and styles, which one do I pick when I come into the shop? Two of the main differences are nylon and fluorocarbon that I think a lot of people don't understand and why we're using those for different applications. The nylon floats. Fluorocarbon sinks faster. So all our subsurface flies, we want to use fluorocarbon. There's another reason for that as well. Actually, there's 3 reasons why we like to use the fluorocarbon for those subsurface flies. Number 1, sinks at a faster rate. Number 2, it refracts, that's hard to say, refracts or reflects less light. So when the fly's down where those fish are, there's less light reflecting right off of that fluorocarbons, less likely to key off your nymph as something that is not natural. So less light reflection, less light reflection. Then the third purpose or situation where it's beneficial subsurface is the fact that it's stronger. So when you're snagging up on those underwater sticks, branches, snags, or on a rock, you're more likely to pull your nymph out of there and retrieve your rig instead of having to break off and re-rig everything over again. So 3 reasons to use the fluorocarbon subsurface: sinks faster, refracts less light, and is much stronger. Now, conversely, we want to use that nylon on the surface to float those dry flies. We want a good drift. We want to be able to mend into the leader. So we want that leader to be on top of the surface and be able to get that good quality drift for those dry flies. Also, as the butt section of the leader on your nymphing rig. So from the fly line down to the bobber or just past the bobber, you want that nylon to allow that to float for the same reason. You can bend your line all the way up to that bobber to get a good drift and present those flies naturally to the fish. Let's see, what else do I have to finish up with here? 2 ways to find, or the main way to find out. You come in, you're looking at all these different ones. Some are labeled. The Fluoroflex is obviously fluorocarbon, but some of the other ones aren't labeled so clearly, and it's difficult to tell. Is it nylon? Is it fluorocarbon? If you look up in the right-hand corner up here of these little spools of all of the Rio materials, it will mention fluorocarbon right below that big Rio sign. Off to the right, it has a description of each of the tippets and will list whether it's nylon or fluorocarbon. So it gives you an idea. We've got the Fluoroflex, the Fluoroflex Plus are the 2 fluorocarbons that we use the most. And then we also have PowerFlex and PowerFlex Plus used for those nylon and dry fly applications. Suppleflex is also up here. It's another option that we have, and that's for your more specific dry fly applications, and it gives you a little better drift on picky, fussy trout or very clear still water situations. So hopefully a little review of all this tippet up here. will be less confusing for you next time you come into the shop, and you'll kind of know exactly what you need before you come in here and have an idea of what you're going to use for each specific purpose. Thanks a lot for stopping into the Kern River Fly Shop, and we look forward to seeing you guys up here soon. Take care.